Well, as you probably read in the description, today I'm making a giveaway bowl. And I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and I just didn't get around to doing it. But today is the day. This is going to be a giveaway bowl. And it's actually going to have a somewhat of a twin, going to be made at the same time. Back in high school, I remember the shop teacher showing us how to make serving trays this way and getting 2 for 1 basically when you make your cut. And as a matter of fact, this method was recently done by Andy Paramore from Andy's Creations, and I'll put a link to his channel. You can check it out. He made a very pretty bowl doing that. So how do you win this? Well, if you're subscribed, I would make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when the drawing's going to take place. It'll probably be in about 2 weeks. And if you're not subscribed, if you want a chance at winning this, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll also be notified when we have the drawing. So, as they say, without further ado, let's get going and we'll make us a giveaway bowl and a non-identical twin. I've got this piece of paper with the design on it, and I use some spray glue. I have it fastened to the top of the board. The ends are hot glued to keep them in position. So let's go ahead and cut them. Okay, I've got them all cut and actually have separated them, and I've shown this before, but just in case you haven't seen it, that hot glue right there, just take a little denatured alcohol. That's about all it takes. It's not going to take very much on this end for sure, and it'll just pop right off like that. I can pull that piece off. I'll show you what we end up with, hopefully. So we'll have 2 different ones going on here. This will go over here, that will go over there, this will go over here, and here, and there, and there, and here, and here. So that is the little process. They're sort of twins, so I'm going to call them the non-identical twins. I'm going to go ahead and get them glued together. I'll show you some of one of them, but not both. And then they'll be ready to start making something out of them besides a little flat board. Okay, something looks a little fishy here. I'm going to go ahead and run this part of the video a little bit quicker because it tends to be kind of boring to watch. Okay, I've got both sides surfaced on these. I'm going to go ahead and cut these into circles. I'll get it set up and we'll start making rings out of them. So I'll be right back. I went ahead and cut them both round, and for the rest of the video we'll just be working on this one. I'll finish the other one off camera. This is the one with the Padauk on the outside and the maple. The other one's flipped from that. Here's something I like to do because I have to take this out of the chuck to get the ring off. I put a little mark on the tenon, corresponding mark on my chuck. That way, when I take it out, I can get it lined up and it runs pretty true that way. At least for what we're doing here. I need to get a mark. My first one, I've got a little mark right there. I'm going to cut it about 1/4 to 5/16. I want to transfer that all the way around so I can see it. Alright, I'll want to leave that line when I cut this. I have my little cutting fixture set up. I've got a 48 and a 45 degree slot. I'm going to use the 45 and it's almost there. So right here. I'm going to sharpen up, I'll be right back and we'll cut one ring. About 540 RPM. Oh, it's getting close. Right here. Okay. Looks successful. Don't see any tear out. Let me get this off. Set up again. We'll make one more cut. Alright, here's the first ring. And I'm going to try to clear up a couple questions I've had. This diameter here will go against that surface. I want another ring that matches this as close as I can get it. So I've measured that diameter. I'll transfer it over to here, and then I'll cut that line, leaving it, and it should match that. I'll go ahead and get that mark on there and I'll show you that again. Yeah, that looks good there. Okay, that's all there is to it. Well, here's all the rings stacked back together, and it still looks like a little fish to me. That piece right here on the bottom, that's a piece of Wingay. I don't know if I mentioned that. That will be part of the turning, and I had cut a tenon on it before I glued it onto the disc. So it's just a matter of getting it glued together now. I just do one ring at a time. As soon as I get this pretty close, like that, I mark it. I know where I need glue. So just take your time when you line this up. I'll clean this out and get it lined up, put a weight on here, and let it sit for a while, then we'll do this one. Let that sit just for a few seconds while the glue kind of tacks up. Okay, well, this sat all night, so it's time to turn it. And because of the nature of how you glue it up, there's not a lot you can do for the shape. But we'll try to get something on there that looks nice. Okay, it's running pretty true at 830 RPM. 1/2 inch roll gouge. Okay, that Wenge is really hard. Alright, I don't want to take too much more off of the outside because I still have to clean that inside up. Okay, I think that's about all we can get on there for a shape. I just sharpened up my negative rake scraper, and we'll just get the inside here finished and we can start sanding. Alright, I'm going to get ready to sand. Instead of using a 2-inch disc on my drill, I'll use sheets. I kind of like doing that more on the kiln dried turning like this. It just seems to sand really nice. Plus this shape, it's easy to get in. And when you see how much dust comes off doing it this way, I think maybe you'll understand why I like it. So we're going to go in reverse at about 380 RPM. Get the dust collector going. Right there coming off. That is just 120 grit. We'll do the inside going forward. Alright, I'll sand it up through 400, and when I come back we'll put a finish on it. Okay, I'm ready to put the finish on it, and what do you think? Does it still look like a school of fish in a fish bowl there? It does to me. So I'm going to use lacquer, and a lot of you have probably seen me use lacquer when I have Padauk and a lighter colored wood like maple. And I use that because if I just dust it on, it will keep the oils in the Padauk from bleeding into the lighter wood. So these are very light coats, maybe 3 times I might do this. That is it right there. If it looks real wet, chances are it'll bleed. So we'll let that sit for, really doesn't take long, but I think it's lunchtime, so I'll be back and get it all wrapped up. This is the second bowl. I thought I'd let you have a little glance at this while I finish it up. I've already sprayed the lacquer on that. I sprayed it, I think, 4 times, maybe 5. I'm going over it with 400 grit. That's very smooth now. I'm going to blow it off. Now I'll go over it with the Axe abrasive paste. Alright, I like to start out around 400 to 500 RPM. There we have it. We got a nice polish on there. Alright, I have it in the cold jaws with some of the padded material. I know the Wingate is very hard. I'm going to keep the tailstock up against it while I get it down to size. So once that gets down to a pretty small nub, I started getting very concerned because I needed to pull the tailstock back to remove the rest of it. And trust me, it was a little nerve-wracking, so I didn't even record that. Okay, they're both done, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I think they're pretty cool looking. I said at the beginning that they're actually going to be pretty identical. Well, they are. The shapes of what I'm calling fish are totally identical. They may not look like it just because of the position of where the Padauk is versus the maple on each one. Then I purposely tried to do a little different shape on the outside. This one is more steeper looking and a smaller base. This one is a bit more rounded looking with a bigger base. And not being able to write on the Wingate, I engraved the Papa 1947 on the base. I finished them both with sprayed on lacquer and Axe abrasive paste, and they both look and feel really nice. I'm going to get this set up on the turntable, and I'll explain what you need to do to enter the drawing to win this bowl. Alright, this is the bowl that will be the subscriber giveaway. If you're currently not subscribed and you'd like a chance to be in the drawing, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and you'll know when the drawing will be for sure. So here's how you enter. If you make a comment and inside that comment somewhere put this phrase, I will be using a comment picker that will look for this phrase. Also, I'll be letting the video run for 2 weeks and then have the drawing on Saturday, November the 20th. I'll also put a reminder in my Friday, November the 19th video to watch for the drawing. Remember this phrase, and best of luck. Make sure you stick around and see the rest of the pictures of these two bowls. If you did like the video, do me a favor and click that like button. And while you're there, it would be great if you could share the video around. Those two things will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment. I read them all and I do my best to answer them all. Thanks to all my subscribers. And if you're not, please consider doing so. I do a mix of all types of turnings. Some are simple and some are complex, so let me know your favorite. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.